Comes in the middle of a trial that could have produced a landmark verdict on whether a social media company could be held legally responsible, not simply for what users post, but for the way the company itself designs its platforms. And that is what makes this case so significant. Under the agreement, Meta will impose new limits on how young people use Facebook and Instagram, including restrictions on daily usage, nighttime access, and age-restricted content. The settlement also addresses allegations that Meta collected personal information from children under 13 without the required parental consent. For Meta, the agreement avoids the risk of a potentially damaging verdict, but it comes at a time when the company is facing growing scrutiny over the impact of its platforms on young people.
Essentially what they're alleging is that Meta, you knew some things about your products, about how Instagram and Facebook affected young people and kind of the compulsive nature to engage online. You said some things publicly to really downplay the risk, and yet you knew internally that the risk was quite great. And so you were saying something different in your internal emails and in your meetings than you were when talking to the press or to Congress or to investors.
Just yesterday, Tuesday, Instagram chief Adam Mosseri was testifying in the Oakland trial. He was questioned about Instagram's Take a Break feature, which is intended to encourage teenagers to stop using the platform after extended periods. The states argued that the limited use of such safety tools required questions about whether Meta was doing enough to protect young users. Professor Freeman Engstrom here speaking before today's settlement became known.
Big, massive trials in the past, or big, massive litigations in the past. I think about tobacco and I think about opioids. Both of those, just like social media in some ways, really affected the population, and arguably, like social media, really harmed the population. And so I'm kind of watching this trial less for kind of wins and losses and more disclosures and revelations. I think we're going to learn a lot more about what our kids have been exposed to online and the effect it's had, and what the folks in charge knew about the harm that was possibly occurring.
Meta has defended its safety measures and says it has invested heavily in protecting teenagers, but the company now faces a much broader legal challenge. It continues to confront thousands of lawsuits brought by families, school districts and others, while other major social media companies, including TikTok, Google's YouTube and Snapchat, face similar allegations. Not established that Meta caused a youth mental health crisis, and there's no verdict on those allegations in this case. But it does establish something important. Governments are increasingly challenging the technology industry's responsibility for the design of its products, particularly when those products are being used by children. And that could ultimately prove far more consequential for Meta and for the wider social media industry and the billions of dollars attached to the settlement. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.